Afternoon YouTube, another video. I wanted to talk to you and put some drone footage on, but today here in Scotland the weather is absolutely horrendous. I've got the GoPro inside the car at the moment. You probably figured out by now that the tent I've got is a new tent. It's the Pomoly Dome X4 Pro, and I have the baker oven with it as well. So I had all sorts of great ideas about how to shoot it with the drone and put the camera up, but the reality is it's horrendous weather. The wind, you're probably hearing it on the GoPro. If I was to turn round, you'll certainly hear it on this microphone. So I'll probably just set the GoPro up on a tree, do a time lapse of putting the tent together, and once I can actually get inside, I will then set the main camera up, and then I'll talk you through some of the features of the tent and we can have an in-depth look at it at that point. First of all, as always, I'd like to show you the inside of the truck. So what I have with me today, I have my EcoFlow, my coffee percolator. If I've got the EcoFlow, I'm having a cup of coffee, especially on a day like this. I have the baker stove, I have a mat, I have my cot bed, and then you can see in the back there I have 5 separate boxes, and in each one of those boxes is, well, basically should be speaking for itself. I have a tent box, a kitchen box. These, let me turn this round, these stay inside my lockup, and I have bigger boxes for the other tent setups that I've got, especially in the summer when I go away with the wife and I've got my big inflatable tent. This hot tent camping stuff is brand new to me. I've never done it before, so I'm really looking forward to it. I just wish it was slightly better weather. Last week I should have had the tent, but it didn't arrive in time and it was actually snowing, so that would have been the perfect time to show it off. We do have an amber weather warning in place today, which means that we're probably going to get 40, 50, possibly even 60 mile an hour winds, and it is forecast for torrential rain, with a forecast I believe I heard for 20 centimetres of rain in one night. That might not be this area, but certainly that's what we're dealing with now. So as always, let me get a coffee, guys. Let me get a coffee, yeah. So hopefully you guys can see this, but yeah. Oh boy. And just for, I'm going to put, there's a caravan here on this piece of, so this is my friend's land. He owns the whole lot, everything that you can see, pretty much as far as I can see. And there's a caravan that the people who come out shooting, an old caravan, they've got a little setup in there where they can get a cup of tea and what have you. And because of the wind, I'm actually just going to put the tent up over there somewhere, because as you can see, the rest of the ground here is saturated. We've had so much rain that it is indeed being saturated. So cheers. I must admit, I've been really looking forward to doing this video. Like I said, I've never ever had a hot tent before, especially the quality that I've got now, so I'm really looking forward to it. The wind is horrendous. I'm shielding a bit, but if I stand this way, you will certainly. And actually all those trees going down there are beech trees, and as you know, beech trees in the wind, ain't camping anywhere down there. That is a nicer spot, especially over there, but yeah, I'm going to stay away from those trees in this wind because it's forecast to get more so. Yeah, so I think realistically it's going to be a case of getting the tent up, getting inside, getting the stove on and hunkering down for the night, especially before the rain comes. But it'll be good, give you guys an opportunity to see the kind of weather that we can get here in Scotland. So without any further ado, cheers, welcome back. Let me start getting set up. Had the time lapse there, so hopefully you've seen that. What I've done is I've put the tent up as best as I know how. I had to, you might see it on the time lapse, but I put one peg in the ground to stop it from blowing away. But a couple of things I want to point out to you on this tent. So this is the Pro, and Pro comes with reinforced sleeves, which I presume are these bits here. They're reinforced all the way across the tent. It comes with a rain cover which I'll clip on, and first I took it off so I could actually see what I was doing. Yeah, it's really, so far so good. It has a skirt on it, but at the moment that's blown under, so I'm going to move it over to, yeah, I think I'm going to move it over to here because this looks fairly hard ground. It has been raining a lot, so yeah, I think this is probably the best place for it. Yeah, definitely, that's where it's going to go, but that might be a little bit of a stretch to get it over there. So I'll come back to you in a bit, okay? There we go. And inside. Oh, what a day. Let's get this zipped up. Okay, perfect. Good quality zippers. Oh, wow. Okay, first impressions, really nice indeed. This is the flattest, driest ground I could find, and inside, I'll show you, in fact I'll just pick it up and show you. All the way around the tent it has like a inner sheet to stop any water coming in, and I presume that is where the ground sheet will go. Up the top here we have the difference for the Pro. Just point it out on the inside is the Pro has windows and these mesh inners, so you can open them up to let light in, which is great. I mean, it's pouring, you can see them there. It has a total of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You get the drill. It also has these vents on the inside, and it's really important that you open them to get some fresh air inside the tent to stop condensation. And also we're having a stove in here. You want as much ventilation, and you can see down there I've already opened the vents on the outside. Okay, so let me show you now. Let me get this ground sheet out. The opening for the stove jack is up there, so that is indeed where I want to have my hands are frozen. with the wind. But hey ho, it's Scotland. What do you expect? Okay, let's get this unravelled. So obviously this bit here, okay guys, I think probably to try and make you sit through all this wobbly footage etc would be horrendous. So I will turn it off at the moment. I will go round, peg all this in and then bring you back. Okay, cheers. Welcome back. So I've got the flooring down, I'll show you that in a minute, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the inner bedroom into this tent. Now I don't know if I'm going to use that tent tonight because it does steal probably, or from what I can see from other videos, it steals about half the floor space. So I would rather just keep it open, put my cot bed in here with my mattress on top, and then have a little bit of room in the middle. But obviously it is a new tent, it came with it, I want to show it to you guys. So if this is the first time that you're, if you're in the market for looking for one of these tents, hopefully I can do it a bit of justice. The weather outside is, the wind's beating the tent and the rain's bouncing off the top, but it's due to get really wild a bit later on, but we'll see. I'm not overly concerned about it now that the tent's up and pegging it in. It's never easy putting a tent up for the first time, or any time indeed, when it's windy. It's yeah, I actually put one tent peg in the ground to try and stop it from blowing away. Okay, so in fact, before I do that, let me just grab this camera and show you what we're dealing with here, because you'll get a better idea from here. So you can see down there, these are the vents and all the different panels. Unfortunately it's not as wide angle as I can get, but you know what, this is actually quite a sizable tent. There is a little loft up there, and you can see I've got my GoPro on the bendy tripod thing. Yeah, there is the stove jack up there, just here's the triangle for it, and I'll have to put my stove in there, and because it's a brand new tent I have to cut it for the stove. Coming round, there is multiple vents, I'll tidy them all up, but I would highly recommend that you leave the vents open, obviously because of carbon monoxide build up once the stove's going. But yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, let me position this camera back, like so. Spinny, spinny. Turn it up, turn it round. Hopefully you can see that. And then get the inner bedroom out. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing at the moment. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back. I've just put the inner tent up. I'm glad actually that I never left the camera rolling and let you watch it, because yeah, I got a little bit confused at one point. It was back to front, probably inside out, upside down and everything. But it is nice. So the inner tent is there. When you go to, if you purchase one of these and you're interested, when you put the inner tent in, make sure you put that little vent there with a zip on it, the little triangle. The two triangles, one's a hammock for a mobile phone or a light or whatever it is you fancy. and then underneath is the vent, and that lines up with the back vent of the tent. So make sure when you're putting it in, that's how it goes. I haven't pulled the bathtub too tight, I haven't tensioned it all up. It does tension it all up, and the reason for that is I'm not going to be using it. I just want the open tent, all experience, but I know my wife would really like this. It's got a nice vent in the roof. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice and it looks really cosy, and it's blackout as well, so certainly here in the summertime if we use this tent, that will help. To give you an idea what have I got, yep, I could use these I guess. So I'm a UK size 9 feet, but from the edge of the tent, or the inner tent, to where the stove sits is only roughly two shoes wide. So it's not a huge amount of room once the inner tent's up, and given the fact that the inner tent is only for sleeping in, I think you're better not having the inner tent. 2 seconds actually, let me spin it round. Yeah, I think you're better not having the inner tent, and that's going to give you a little bit more real estate inside. But of course it's entirely up to yourself. I bought the inner tent because I'm as well getting the whole package together. So I'm really happy with it. It looks excellent, it takes a bit of use to getting up. But yeah, I'm not going to use it tonight. Okay, I prefer some real estate. Okay, catch you in a bit guys, I'll come back to you. I'm going to start, you can hear the wind and the rain on the tent, and it's going to get really bad, and it's starting to come in now. So what I want to do, it's taken me a little bit longer than I thought to initially set up the tent. So what I'm going to do is go take this inner tent down and then bring everything else in, get it set up, because I've still got to cut a hole for the stove jack and bring the stove in. So we're starting to run out of light to do that, so I need to crack on. So I'll bring you back later on guys, thanks. Hopefully you can hear us, but you've got to find a bit in the centre, and I have a pen, so again, yeah, wow, this is miserable. Roughly see that there, hopefully you can too. what I can do is go inside and hopefully that will be enough. Now it'll obviously come from the inside up and then I want to lag it, but I'll go and do that now guys, because that will now be letting the water into the tent. So yeah, I appreciate it. Is just, let me see, it is just absolutely rotten out here. The wind's going, hopefully you can hear me alright. it will be better inside, and then we can have a proper chat. I'm sorry I've not been able to bring you the kind of video that I was hoping to do, but to be honest, the weather is just absolutely miserable. It is on the turn. There is a yellow weather warning just being issued for this area, so I would imagine that tonight and tomorrow will be absolutely horrendous. So it's going, I mean, I'm okay with that now that I'm set up, the tent's up. I think I'll probably come out and put some more guy lines in on the tabs just to make sure, so it doesn't go, doesn't disappear on me tonight if the wind does pick up. Here in Scotland we can get 80-90 mile an hour gusts of wind, and the fact that it's December with that cold, it's just absolutely freezing. My fingers are practically numb, but it's not going to stop my fun, and it ain't going to stop me bringing you guys a quality video later on once I'm in and that stove's on and we can have a chat and something to eat. So cheers guys, I will catch you in a bit. So yeah, quite an eventful last hour. I've been outside. I have completely guyed the tent down because it's getting really windy. I've got quite a lot of the stuff in, and don't get me wrong, once I'm fully lit and I'm fully going, I will bring you back and you'll be able to see everything I've got in here, and hopefully by that time it'll be a bit cosy, and I'll have all the lights and everything set up. What I had to do, let me just spin that round. What I had to do was, let me put my head torch on now, throw some light on it. What I had to do was lag the piping and cut the hole, which I've now done. I have my water tank set up on the stove. I've come down and lo and behold, yes, the stove is lit. And you can see that is the Pomoly baker stove with the oven in the bottom. So guys, let me crank that up a little bit, let me shuffle things around in here, and well, in fact I can probably do it now. Over the back there I have a whole load of wood. It was pre-cut. I have some kindling there, of course a coffee percolator, I need that for the morning, my power generator, I've got my fridge in, got a little can of cider open, I've got a table here, let me stand up, I have a cot bed and my mattress in, and it's all on a rug. But again, once I get all the lights on, set up and charged, oh, and my chair, but I'll bring you back later guys. Alright folks, welcome back. So I have a little coffee on the go, fire still toasting, and I now have my tea in there, which is a lovely pizza. Yeah, really liking it. It's it's actually recording that it's 32 degrees inside here. Yeah, do you know what? I don't think I'm going to argue with that. It is exactly really warm. Let me barrel this round. It is absolutely super toasty. In fact, let me barrel that round one more time. Why not? Yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. So what else is on the cards for tonight then? So tonight, or today rather, was just a trial run. All I really wanted to do today was put the tent up, see how it goes. I'm disappointed that the weather wasn't particularly great. I would have loved to have had the big camera set up and that, but there might, like I said, there might be little snippets that you can use. I'm just going to kick back. I'm going to have that pizza. I've got coffee on the go. I've still got a cider left, and then I have a movie downloaded, and then I'm going to jump in my sleeping bag. So a little bit different from what it was last week, or a few weeks ago rather. Also, just want to say thank you very much to all the people who comment. If there's anybody who wants to comment on this video and you perhaps want to see something in the future about hot tent camping, or indeed the Pomoly Dome X4 Pro, or the Baker oven, or indeed the water tank and how it's all set up, let me know in the comments and we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, ask away guys. So by asking me lots of questions, you then prompt me to come out and do the things that I should be doing for YouTube. Next week will be Christmas. I do have a couple of days off between Christmas and New Year, so I'll probably come back out and set up again. Maybe not here, have an idea where I could go. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. As long as I can obviously get the truck really close by, that's all that really matters. Okay, the smell of that coffee is absolutely divine, so I'm going to stop again here. I'm going to have my coffee and then I'll bring you back just for a bit of pizza. Okay, cool. Look at that guys, that my friends is my pizza. Now it burnt a little bit at the back there, but that's okay. So I guess just learning. I guess the moral of the story is turn that pizza around halfway when you think it's cooked. Turn it around just so it cooks evenly, because there must have been a hot spot at the back there. Okay, here we are. What a day. So, to recap on everything that's happened today then. So I wanted to drive down, I wanted to put the drone up, I wanted to show you where I was. That didn't quite happen. The wind was horrendous. It was bucketing down with rain. I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind's still quite bad. There is a yellow alert on for the weather tonight, and apparently we're going to get 20 centimetres of rain, which is a fair bucket even by Scottish standards. So yeah, come down, put the tent up. Some chap, you'll see in the footage, a chap pulled up in a red van. He normally comes shooting on this land, so he was wondering what I was doing, but like I said, it's my friend's land, so I have complete permission to be here. Explained who I was. So anyway, he hung about for about 40 minutes, yapping and chatting. I was kind of thinking, right, come on, I need to get going here. And then anyway, he disappeared. It's fine, it's not an issue. It's good to actually get to meet these people so they know who I am, because hopefully I'm going to be coming here more often. Excuse me. So I done that, and then my friend Colin and Stuart came along. They came along to see me. I haven't seen them for a while. I had a beer with them. They didn't stay long. They only stayed about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because they're off to the rugby club tonight for a Christmas party. So yeah, fair play to them. Ended up having to get everything in here in the dark and set up everything. But I must admit, I was starting, if I'm honest, I was starting to get a little bit anxious just with the weather, the wind, the rain, and coming backwards and forwards into the tent, because it was just, there was water and things. So it was a bit frustrating, but once I got into the swing of things, I got the stove set up. That was absolutely fine. I had an epic fail there. I put lagging on the chimney, and when I first lit the chimney, basically I seen smoke coming out, so I instantly thought, or rather the tent was filling up with smoke. So I thought, shit, I'll better do something about that. So I took it all apart and redone it, but of course I had to wait for it to cool down. So that kind of sent me back another hour. So by this time, it's basically 7 o'clock at night, and I'm still out there trying to cut a hole for or rather not at that point. Yeah, so basically I had to come back in, fire it up again. Even the second time round, I took the lagging off most of the pipe and only put the lagging on the bit that actually goes through the jack and the roof. And and I'll put a photo of that up so you can see, because I thought maybe the lagging and the way I'd done it had upset the pipe, but it wasn't. I think the smoke was actually coming off the lagging. So when I lit the fire for the second time, again I started to see smoke, and I was like, shit, but it was nowhere near the same amount as the first. And I thought, that's fine, I'll open the door to vent it. And I sat for 5 minutes and then it disappeared. But at that point I was so confident that I'd actually put a couple of big logs in the stove. So I thought, oh, it's going to take a couple of hours. And at that point I was quite disheartened. But I'm glad I stuck with it. As I said earlier, this is my first skirmish with hot tent camping, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it, I must admit. Sitting here now, it is, what time have we got? It is 9:45 at night. I'm having a little beer, well, cider actually. And yeah, I just done a temperature reading inside this tent, and it was 31 degrees. I'm actually sweating, it's that hot in here, which is fantastic, right? It really is, it's fantastic. Not the kind of camping that I'm used to at all, but I'll take it. I will take it. Yeah, I mean, I've brought far too much, but the fact that I can just put the car right at the, basically, it's not far at all, which is great. That's what I've been needing. So basically, I brought everything with me. Brought absolutely everything. I've got a table, got my iPad, I have a fridge, I have a power generator, a coffee percolator, I have various cookware in the back there, kettles, what have you. Pre-cut logs that I brought with me anyway, I brought them down. And then over to this side I have my bed, which is the X-Bed mattress. Again, I'll put some links up so you can see. I would have liked to have went into that in a lot more detail. And my plan was to set the camera up in here, open up these 6 vents so the light was coming in, and then I'd have been able to sit in here and show you. But basically, yeah, ran out of time. Weather, can't do anything about it. I'll just turn that off, guys, getting notifications. There's not a lot I can do about it, so in the hands of the gods, so to speak. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I had the pizza. Now the stove came first, and I had a chance to use that in the garden because I'd read on the reviews that it's better to burn it in a couple of times. So I'd used it a couple of times, heated it up. Second time round I'd done a pizza in it, and then this is its third use now. Tent, first use today. I only received it probably, I don't know, last week, definitely last week at some point. So there was a bit of delay in that because I'd ordered the ground sheet and the inner tent. I hadn't used the inner tent tonight because I kind of just prefer it as one open space that I can utilise and put my tables and cameras and that. If you put the inner tent in, it effectively takes half your tent away. So yeah, I didn't quite fancy that much. It actually goes this way across. The vents in here are superb, I must say. I mean, they are, the build quality of this tent is absolutely amazing. The seam ceiling and everything, I'm really impressed. And you can hear it. I have outside, I'll probably show you that in the morning, but outside I have guyed this thing down. When I first came in, I thought, yeah, it should be okay, just freestanding with the pegs. But the more I thought about it, I don't want to have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning if that wind comes in to be mucking about with nonsense like that. So I thought, if I do it now, you know what, this is a Four Seasons tent, it should be able to handle anything that comes this way. It was a bit, I wanted to originally go down in nearer the fields down there, because there's nice flat ground down there. But that said, it's all beech trees. I don't want to camp under beech trees at this time of the year, especially if the wind's roaring. They are, you know, there's a reason they're called widow makers. So I came back up here. There's a bit of flat ground here. There's actually a caravan. It actually looks like something out of a horror movie. But, you know, I'm okay with that. I never came here for a view. I came here to sit inside the tent, give it a whirl, and see what it's like. And yeah, I must admit, I'm very, very impressed. Now, let me put this down. Cheers, by the way, guys. Thanks for joining me on this. And actually, want to just give a shout out to all the people who have been commenting on my last video. There's actually two guys called Rob, and sometimes get them mixed up. They always shout out in the video, so thanks very much for your support. I talk quite a lot with them, and indeed with others, and I find your support really, really good. It's great to know that when I put a video on, it gets a great response. If you're watching this for the first time, then basically I would really, really love it if you could like and subscribe, and if possible, comment. I do make a point of trying to answer all the comments that's on the page. I think that's, at this size, my channel is quite small, so I have the ability to do that. Obviously, I hope that it grows, but I will always make a point in trying to answer anyone's questions they have. I said before, I've kind of done different takes on the GoPro and that, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to try and snip it together, but even if I can get 10 or 15 minutes video, that I'd be really happy with that. I'd be really happy with that. It's really just to give you guys an idea of what this tent looks like. It's going to be written up as Pomoly Dome X4 Pro and Baker Stove, so I'm guess someone out there will probably want to do a little bit of that. And if it's actually not too bad when I clean this out in the morning, I'll give you some dimensions, because I've actually brought a measuring tape with me so I could give you the sizes. What I would say, so it's classed as a 4-man tent. Is it a 4-man tent? Yeah, it probably is, but it would be a tight squeeze. I personally think if you're coming in with a stove, it's a 2-man tent. The stove sits quite forward, away from the door for obvious reasons. I do kind of think, I do wonder why that's a door. I think that back panel there should be made of the same stuff that is made on the ground sheet to make it fireproof, etc. I do think that's good, but I understand why they put that in there, because once your stove's in, you can open that door and you can load your firewood up at the back of the stove. So I totally get it. I understand why it is, but they could have done, yeah, they could do it slightly different, but that's not a criticism on their behalf. Yeah, my first impression of the gear is brilliant. I'm really, really happy with them. What's left to do? I did have one absolute blooper. So I put the hot water tank in, and I went out, I got a couple of litres of water in a jug, and I filled it up. And when I filled it up, yeah, well, guess what? The tap was open, so it came straight out the bottom and onto the stove. Basically felt like a little bit like a sauna for a few minutes, but yeah. And I actually have that on video, so I'll maybe just stick it in, because that was a learning experience as well. What else is there? There's probably not a lot else to say really, but I will reposition the camera and I'll let you see. Don't know if you can hear, but that is the wind coming now, and I can hear the rain starting on the tent. morning, campers. It's now 5:30 on Sunday morning, and yeah, the wind is pretty special. I don't know how much of it you'll hear. You'll certainly see the tent flap about. First impressions, so I'm really glad to put the guy lines in. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's 40, 50 mile an hour winds, gusts outside, and the tent, well, yeah, I'm not sure how much you can hear that, but it's pretty special. Not looking forward to taking the tent down, that's for sure. Let me spin it around so you can see the other bit. Maybe give you a better idea, or maybe you can let me hear the sound. So you can see the fires out, and a little light up there. So yeah, it's quite a yeah, that's a fair beating. Putting those guy lines was definitely the right choice. So I guess I'm going to make a decision in half an hour, although it's actually getting worse rather than better, whether or not I should just get up now, have my breakfast now, do it now. That way lets the stove calm down and then get out of here. It would be a shame and a wasted opportunity not to cook on that stove and give you a demonstration of it while I'm here. I think so. I definitely think it would be a wasted opportunity. So anyway, what I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to give it half an hour. Excuse me? Yeah, definitely going to give it half an hour, and then maybe an hour, and then we're going to start that daytime routine of getting up, having a coffee, looking forward to that, getting that stove lit back up. I've been sitting watching the flue pipe, the chimney, because that is a concern because it's not guyed down, but it's pretty solid. It's not moving anywhere, so that's, you know, if it's taking that, I half expected to hear it clanking off, but not happened so far, so that's good news. Yeah, okay. So I'll sign off at the moment, and I will get back to you. I had an absolutely fantastic sleep, even though it was only a few hours. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was absolutely toasty in this snug pack. In fact, it was too warm when the fire was still on last night. But after the fire went out, it was absolutely perfect. It really was. Okay, cool. Okay guys, so I had to go out to the toilet and go down and get a couple more camcorder batteries out of the car. One thing I did do before I went was I cleaned out the fire pit from the previous night, and what I used was a shaving brush. I think this is a great tip. I thought about it when I was trying to clean the fire pit out after the first initial burn, and I found it pretty difficult to get into all the corners. So what I done was bought myself one of these, a couple of quid off Amazon, and you can simply go in and sweep all the loose ash down into the back dustpan. So top tip, I heard it here first. Okay, so we're now going to do breakfast. I've got quite a big breakfast to make. I need to light the fire, I need to definitely get the coffee on the go. Oh, I need a coffee. And yeah, so I'll just break into that routine and you can follow along and watch. Okay. Oh. Right guys, that fire's only been lit for a few minutes now and it's absolutely toasting again inside this tent to the point where I've had to strip off some layers. I put the full lot on this morning to go down to the car. When I say down to the car, it's only about 10-15 metres away because it was really windy and rainy. Back now, fire's lit, clothes stripped down off a few layers. Coffee has been made. Now I want to show you what came out of that cool box. We have for breakfast black pudding. Now I realise a lot of guys across the pond, you're not going to be familiar with black pudding, but look it up. It is the business. Great stuff. Lorne sausage. We call it Lorne sausage, square sausage. Seems to be a Scottish thing, don't get it down south. It is Aberdeen Angus steak slice. Awesome. Inside here we have a couple of sausages and bacon, a bit of pork, and in this one I have a couple of hash browns. Now, for those who follow the channel, you've seen me doing a breakfast before on the Kadak. But if you come out and you take the hash browns come frozen, basically, and if you take them and leave them frozen and then try and cook them while as they've been defrosted, they don't taste so good. So you're best cooking them from frozen. So I done that yesterday, and now it's only a case of heating them up again, and I'm sure that'll be absolutely fine. Yep. Oh, and I've got an egg as well, of course, and beans. In fact, I've pretty much got everything you could ever think of that goes on a breakfast plate. Why not? So, where are we now? 7:15. Fire's cleaned, relit, temperature's rising, coffee had. Do the breakfast now. Let's get that on. I'm thinking should be ready for about 8 o'clock. Get that tanned for about 8:30. Yeah, I think that'll work. A couple of hours to let the stove die down again. Get that cleaned up and then start packing up roughly. I don't know, we'll play it by ear. I'm certainly not going to get stressed about it. It is what it is. Cool. Okay, let's get the sausages a-sizzling. Well, I'll tell you what, that's surprising because there must be some heat in there to get it to there. So already I've taken them off the pan and I'll put them, I don't know if you can see that. Let's just put them in the grill next to everything else. Or in the oven. Do that. Close that up.
Yum, 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 yum. Oh dear, never mind. One job. All right. Okay guys, when I said to you I was doing the full Monty, I was not joking. I promise you, I was not joking. So, now, this is just for show and tell. These are actually the smallest plates in the world. Yeah. A little bit of red sauce, as you do. So I'm going to cut the camera off now. I'm going to enjoy my breakfast. I'll take this out, then I'll clean all my mouth out, pop everything back in. Thank God that's nearly over. So that's been 18 months I've been going through various surgeries to get this fixed. And yeah, it will all be done and dusted in January. So I'm really can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to saying goodbye to that part of my life. Yeah, so I'll catch you in a minute. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's picking up and it's raining, but the time is now pretty much spot on. I said 8 o'clock and here we are, 8 o'clock, which is great because that gives that fire a couple of hours to die down. While that's dying down, I'll kind of just start packing away. There's a lot of crap lying around here, so I'll start tidying all this up and putting stuff away. So I'll catch you later guys, thanks. Great to be back. So that breakfast was good, truth be told. The Lorne sausage, which I was really looking forward to, it didn't taste that great because it was overcooked, but hey ho, the rest of it was really nice. Quite happy to do that. Unfortunately now I've got the dishes to do, and when I look back in one of my last videos, or a previous video where I done the inch bag, I got a comment from a gentleman who said you've got everything in there apart from the kitchen sink, and he was right, I forgot it. So what I've made sure that I've done on this trip is bring my kitchen sink. Okay, so I don't know if he was being derogative. It doesn't matter, I can handle it. It's not open. Okay, be careful. Just pull it a wee bit in. And this is where I really like the idea of this water tank. As long as you don't set your plastic bucket down there, you're going to be fine. There you go. Yeah, decent. It's not too... I've not left it too long because I don't want it boiling. I just want enough to be able to do the dishes. So it's warm. I'll give my hands a good wash as well after prepping all that food. One thing I did notice about this though was the flow rate on that tap is not particularly great. However, I think it's probably designed like that because I think if it came out too fast, yeah, it might, and it was boiling hot, then I think you may have an issue with that. So I'm just going to do that, fill this up. I'm going to set it on top of the Alpicool fridge there, and then do my dishes. And then I guess there's probably about half an hour left in that fire. It's now 10 to 9, so that's bang on. If I can start packing up for 10, I reckon, yeah, if I can start packing up for 10, I reckon it'll take me an hour, I guess, to put all this away. I'm not fussed. When I brought it down, I put the boxes in the back of the car. I actually wanted to show you, but I might just put a picture up. I can't remember if I showed you or not, but I basically bought some boxes and organised it well. I'm not particularly fussed if everything goes back into the right box, because everything's going to have to come home and ultimately get washed and dried and put away. The tent will be soaking, the stove will need a good clean. Yeah, but that's all part of the fun, right? The things we do to go camping and make YouTube videos. I don't think people who watch appreciate the effort that goes into these things. And the reality is, the 24 hours that you come out and do a camping trip, or 48 or whatever, you've got to put double that time in to edit the thing and get it fit for uploading onto YouTube. So there's a lot. There is a lot. I want to be careful. Yeah, that's fine. So put that over there. Cool. So I've got that open. I think that's about my fourth bottle of water this morning. Yeah, no wonder I'm up every couple of hours at night. Anyway guys, let me just crack on. I'm going to do these dishes. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to finish this up here. So I'm going to do the dishes. I'm actually going to just lie on my bed and catch up with some of the news that's going on today. I'll let that fire die down. Once that last log has burnt out, I'm going to start packing everything up, so by the time the car is loaded, the stove out, drop the tent, job done. Oh, one thing I said I would do, and I've never done. I just seen that right now. Yesterday I brought the measuring tape because I wanted to give you the dimensions of the tent. So let me see, if I go from that door across to that door, there to there, that would be kind of the distance at its furthest point. So about 10 feet, guys, right across. So it'll be the same the other way. So it's decent, you know. It is decent. And of course I'm cutting something. Yeah, they do have the dimensions on the Pomoly website, but it's about 10 feet. So if you're kind of wondering what the kind of floor space that you would have, you could mark out 10 feet and see if this setup would be good. But again, most of the things I have, these are quite popular items, so most people have them. You know, these folding chairs, I think everyone on YouTube's got them. Same with the folding tables, the Alpicool fridge, pretty popular brand. Yeah, so I'm guessing if this gives you an idea, I like the cot bed. I like the cot bed because not only is it up off the ground, it feels like a proper bed, but you've got some additional storage underneath it for different bits and pieces. And I like that because even now I'm starting to feel like this is a little bit cluttered. But not to worry, it only takes a few minutes to tidy up, throw it all in the box and be done. So anyway, YouTube, once again, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. If you could, please subscribe. There's more to come. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of camping in this tent over. If it snows this year in Scotland, I'm out. I really want to spend a couple of days in the snow. Just peaceful, quiet, snowing, and give this a whirl. That said, this morning about 5:30 the wind was horrendous. And the tent took it. I honestly thought, yeah, I'm not sure how that. It was waving, it was flapping, but it never flinched. It never once did I think, oh dear, that's going to come caving in. So the reinforcements, the poles on the outside that clip in, plus all the guy lines in, this tent, trust me, it can take a beating. It was raining. I would say heavy enough if it was a poor quality tent, the water would have come in. The rain we've had in the last night, it's nothing compared to what we can get in Scotland. I mean, we can get torrential rain. I was actually really hoping we would get some. It'll probably happen just as I take the tent down for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this tent will take a beating. So on that note, I'm going to love and leave you, and I'm going to start packing this lot up. So thanks very much, YouTube. Until the next video, take care, and of course have a Merry Christmas, because that's only actually, let me see what day. Hopefully this will be on by the time I get edited and put on. Hopefully you'll be able to watch this for Christmas Day. But take care. See you later.